Hey guys, today I'm going to show you how to crochet this mesh crop top. The main pattern, as you can see, is a 2-row repeat pattern. And the stitch included is basically double crochets and chains. We will also be doing double crochet 2 togethers, but I will show you how to do that. As usual, I made this pattern made to measure, so you can make one in your own size. This is the yarn I chose for it. It is from Creative Corner, super soft. The yarn is 100% acrylic and it is an 8-ply yarn. It calls for a 4.5mm crochet hook, but because the pattern is going to be meshed, it's going to have spaces, so I decided to size up to a 6.5mm crochet hook. I chose this yarn because it has a very metallic kind of feel. It is very shiny. I only have this one color from them, so honestly I'm not really sure if the metallic feel is from the color or from the yarn, but I just thought the combination of metal and mesh would be really interesting. So first I'm going to create a chain like that, which is half of my under bust measurement. So I'm going to use the other panel to show you how to make this. I'm using the other end of the yarn. So first I'm going to make a slip knot. If there's a specific stitch in the video you don't know how to do, you can click the setting button under this video to slow that part down. And then I'll make a chain that's that length. So half of my under bust, just the front bit, is about 14 inches. So that means I'll need to make a chain that can stretch to at least 14 inches, but you don't want it to be that tight. You'll need to put it on, right? And your bust is wider than your under bust. So you want it to be a bit looser. And I'm gonna add 1 inch for that. So instead of making a chain that can stretch to 14 inches, I'm gonna make a chain that can stretch to 15 inches. So you just make a chain, yarn over, pull it through. That's how you make a chain. There's a requirement for this chain number because of the pattern we're going to use. So the requirement for that is that your chain needs to be an odd number. So I just kept chaining until it fits around my bust like that. And with this yarn, to reach that measurement, I need to chain 33. So now I have a chain of 33. Row 1, we're just gonna do single crochets. So that's chain number 33. I'm gonna chain 1 to turn here. Now that chain is the second chain from the hook. In that chain, I'm gonna insert my hook and make a single crochet. So you yarn over, pull it through, yarn over, pull through 2. Actually, I'm gonna mark the stitch. So that's the first single crochet. Put a stitch marker in the top 2 loops so that I know that stitch is the first stitch of this row. And then for the rest of the chain, I'm just gonna make 1 single crochet in each of them. So that's the next one. 1 single crochet. You can make your stitches loosely, that's okay. Next chain, single crochet. Okay, now I've got 2 stitches left. 1 single crochet. And then in the last one, 1 single crochet. So that's row 1. And then we're gonna turn and start row 2. The row 2, we're gonna do a double crochet and then a chain 1. So double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, chain 1, double crochet. But the first one, instead of doing a chain 2, it looks very much like a double crochet. And that's done by doing 2 single crochets on top of each other. So we're at the end of row 1. I'm just gonna turn. That's the first stitch. In that stitch, I'm gonna insert in 2 loops and then do a single crochet And then in the left vertical loop here, I'm gonna do another single crochet. So I insert the hook, yarn over, pull it through, and then yarn over, pull through 2. So that's like that first double crochet there. I'm gonna mark that stitch again. So a stitch marker in these 2 loops. Okay, and then I'm gonna chain 1, skip the next stitch, because that chain 1 is gonna be sitting on top of that stitch. So skip 1, go directly into the next one. In that one, I'm gonna make a double crochet. So to make a double crochet, you yarn over, insert into that stitch in both loops, yarn over, pull it up, 3 loops on the hook, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. So like that. And then you just continue doing these 2 stitches. So a chain 1, skip 1, in the next stitch, a double crochet. I'm always going to be inserting into 2 loops from now on. So a double crochet there, like that. And then, like I said, you just repeat that. Whenever you chain 1, don't forget to skip the next stitch. And then the next one, a double crochet. So that's the pattern for row 2. So at the end, if you have 2 stitches left after a double crochet, then you've done it right. If it's not like that for you, then you'll need to check if you made any mistakes here. But yeah, from here, chain 1, the last double crochet is worked in this marked stitch. Now I can take out the stitch marker. Okay, so that's row 2. Row 3 is like that. For row 3, we're gonna begin with a double crochet again. And again, instead of chaining 2, I'm gonna do that stacked single crochet. So just turn your work like that. Insert in the very first stitch, both loops, make a single crochet, and then in the left vertical loop, another single crochet. Now, let's see if I can explain this properly. So basically, there's no increase, right? That means we're going to make 1 stitch on top of the stitch in the last row. So for example, I have 1 stitch here on top of that one. That chain 1 is on top of that single crochet, and that double crochet is on top of that single crochet. And it works the same way for row 3. So that double crochet is on top of that. And when your next stitch is a chain 1, on top of that chain 1, we're gonna do a double crochet 2 together into the stitch before and after that chain 1. And this is how you do it. You're gonna yarn over. In the same stitch you just did a double crochet, insert your hook, yarn over, pull it up. You have 3 loops. You're gonna yarn over and pull through 2 only, like that. And then you're gonna go into the next double crochet. So you skip that one, that chain 1, yarn over, go into the next double crochet, the double crochet after the chain 1, insert your hook, yarn over, pull yarn up, yarn over, pull through 2 first. Now you should have 3 loops on your hook. You're gonna yarn over again, pull through all. And that thing here is called a double crochet 2 together, and that's one stitch. That stitch is sitting on top of this chain 1. I forgot to mark the very first stitch. I'm going to do that now. So again, that's one stitch, and that stitch is on top of this chain 1, and the next stitch is that. Whenever you see a double crochet, you're just going to chain 1, and that chain 1 is going to be on top of that. And next we see a chain 1 again. So on that stitch, I'm going to make a double crochet 2 together in that and that stitch. So the double crochet before the chain 1 and the double crochet after the chain 1. I hope that makes sense. If you don't know what I'm talking about, that's okay. You just copy what I do. Okay, so after the chain 1, I'm gonna yarn over, insert in the same stitch I just worked into, yarn over, pull it up, yarn over, pull through 2 first, yarn over, skip this chain 1, directly go into the next double crochet, insert your hook, yarn over, pull it up, yarn over, pull through 2 first, 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through all. So basically you're just going to repeat these 2 things. So a double crochet 2 together that looks like that, and then chain 1. Okay, that's the last stitch. Gonna yarn over and go into that marked stitch. Yarn over, pull yarn up, yarn over, pull through 2, and yarn over, pull through 3. So that's the last double crochet 2 together I'm gonna work. After this, you're gonna make 1 more double crochet into that very last marked stitch. So into the same stitch here, make a normal double crochet. Okay, and then from here, you're just going to repeat row 2, 1, 3. Let me get you started on row 2. Whenever you start a row, because we're doing the double crochet differently, remember, we're not going to chain any, so we just turn. In the first stitch, I'm going to make that special double crochet. So a single crochet first, and then in the left vertical loop, another single crochet. Could mark that first stitch. And row 2 is just double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, chain 1, double crochet. So that's a double crochet, chain 1, and don't forget to skip 1, skip that stitch, and the next stitch is actually a chain 1 that looks like this. So yarn over, insert your hook in that, and make a double crochet, chain 1 again, skip that stitch. In the next V that looks like a V, make another double crochet. Actually, it might be really easy if you look at the top. So I just worked 1 stitch into those 2 top loops. Then I'm gonna chain 1, skip the next top 2 loops into that. That's the next stitch. Here, make a double crochet. So I'm gonna continue doing that and finish this row. I've got 2 stitches left. I already worked a double crochet in that stitch, so I'm gonna chain 1, skip the next stitch, and then work a double crochet in the very last stitch that is marked. So that was row 2 again. Now we're gonna repeat row 3. You can actually rewind back to that part where I did this row the very first time. Okay, so this is one of the panels. I have 7 rows here. So the first row is a single crochet, and then I did row 2 and 3. Remember, that's the repeat pattern. So I did row 2 and 3 3 times in total. That's gonna be the height of the top. So the back panel is pretty much gonna be like that. And this is the front panel. So far it's the same as the back panel. But for this, instead of having just a strap like that, I wanna do some shaping here. So I might do maybe 2 more rows. So it's gonna have a shape like that. And then we do the straps. So first of all, the next row can't start from here because that point is this. It's gonna be sitting right here. So I can't just make a stitch there. I'll need to move forward a bit and then do the decrease. And then I'm gonna use slip stitch to do that. Chain 1, turn my work. And then I slip stitch in the very first stitch in top 2 loops. The next stitch as well. Second one and third one go into this big space. Slip stitch. I'm gonna do one more slip stitch. Then I'm gonna do a double crochet 2 together here. But because this is the very first double crochet for this row, I'm going to do that special double crochet. So in the next space, make a single crochet first. And then in the left vertical loop, insert your hook, pull yarn up. I'm gonna stop there, skip 1 stitch, yarn over, go into the very next space, pull yarn up, yarn over, pull through 2, and then yarn over, pull through 3. So that's the curve right there. And then from here I can follow the pattern for row 2, which is chain 1, skip 1 stitch, in the next space, work a double crochet, chain 1, skip 1, double crochet in the next stitch. So I continue doing that until I have 8 stitches left. The marked stitch is the last stitch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then I chain 1, skip 1 stitch, into the next space, yarn over, pull yarn up, yarn over, pull through 2, and then yarn over again, skip 1 stitch, in the following space, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 3. So that's like the decrease at the end of the row. So the pattern for the next row is row 3. I'm just gonna turn my work. In the first stitch, make a single crochet first, and insert in the left vertical loop, pull up a loop, and yarn over. Skip the chain 1, directly go into the next double crochet, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, and yarn over, pull through 3. And then from here, I can do the normal row 3 pattern, which is chain 1, work an unfinished double crochet in the same stitch. So pull through 2, and then yarn over again, skip 1 stitch, in the very next one, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 3. And then from there, I'm just gonna repeat that pattern. I'm gonna put a stitch marker in this double crochet 2 together. This is 1 stitch, so I'm just gonna mark the top 2 loops. Chain 1, a double crochet 2 together in this and that stitch. That's the last stitch, so this would be my last double crochet 2 together. So for the straps, I want to try something different. Instead of just a chain, I want to make it look like this thing here. So for every row, it would be a double crochet, chain one, and then another double crochet. So I'm going to turn my work. In the very first stitch, I'm going to make a special double crochet and then chain one. Skip this chain one. In the next stitch, work a double crochet. And that is the first row for the strap. Then I'm going to turn again. In this double crochet, make a special double crochet, chain one, skip this chain one. In the next stitch, which is the last stitch, insert your hook, yarn over, insert your hook, make a double crochet. So we only have 3 stitches for each row, double crochet, chain one, and then double crochet, and then repeat. So that's the straps. I'm going to continue working it up to make it longer until it's long enough to go over my shoulder and connect to this back panel here. So it's kind of difficult for me to see how long I need to make this when these 2 panels are separated like this. So I decided to connect these 2 panels first. And this is the back panel. I can fasten it off here. So after the last stitch, I'm just going to chain one and leave some length here to sew up this seam. I think that's enough. About like 1 meter is enough because this edge is very short. I'm going to cut my yarn and pull it through like that. So I fastened off the back panel. Now I need to use that to connect it to the front panel. I'll need to make sure both of the panels are on the same side. So for my beginning chain, it goes from left to right. I'll need to make sure the front side is like that as well. And then I'll sew these together. And for us to sew them together, we need to do it from the wrong side. So that seam, instead of doing it from this side, I'm gonna flip it to the wrong side and sew it up like that. So basically, I'll use slip stitches to join them together, and I'll do 2 slip stitches for each row. That's 1 row, that's 1 row, that's 1 row. So I'm gonna insert my hook in the very last stitch here. Grab this yarn and pull it through. Chain one. So that's that corner connected. And then I'll find the next space along this edge on this side and on the other side as well. Insert my hook, yarn over, and pull that yarn through all the loops. So that's 2 stitches for row 1. The next row, I'm going to do 2 as well. So 1 in there, just the space along this edge, and 1 in there. Yarn over, pull it through all the loops to slip stitch. And then moving along, one more slip stitch here. And it's connected like that. I'm going to continue doing this. So now I have one single crochet row left. I'm gonna work one slip stitch in that. And then chain one, pull through. So that's the same from the wrong side, and that's it from the right side. Now for this side, let me get you started. We're gonna do it from the wrong side as well. Grab a new yarn tail, slip knot, insert in the first stitch, here, and then first stitch here as well. Grab the yarn, pull it through, and then chain one. And then from here it's the same as before. That's the first stitch. I'm gonna work one more slip stitch for this row. And then move on to the next row, 2 slip stitches, and then this is the same as before. When you finish the seam, fasten off. So after you've done both seams, you can put this on. So I think this length is good. I'm gonna leave it at that. I'm gonna give you the measurement. So here is 14 rows I've done, and when you wear it, the strap is gonna be stretched like that, and that's the measurement I'm looking at. So it can stretch up to 14 inches. So 14 inches, 14 rows for me. Now I'm going to attach this strap to the back side, to the back panel here. So now I need to mark where I'm going to attach the straps. I marked out the center stitch there. I could have done this before I joined them together. Now it's a bit harder, but that's okay. I'm going to count the double crochet 2 together from the edge. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And this chain one in the middle is the center stitch. I'm gonna count from this middle stitch, count 3 stitches. 1, 2, 3. Mark this chain one here. So that stitch and the 2 stitches after that is gonna be attached with this. And I'm gonna mark the other side as well. So center stitch 1, 2, 3. Next chain one, mark that. That stitch and the 2 stitches on this side will be joined with the other strap. So again, I have 14 rows here. I'm going to join these 3 stitches to those, but I need to do it from the wrong side again. This is the right side facing us. So just go like that. And again, I'm going to use slip stitches to join them. So just go into the very first stitch here. And 1, 2, 3, this stitch I'm going to insert in this hole here. Slip stitch. Next stitch, insert in this. And next stitch on the other side. Slip stitch. Last stitch of the strap. And in this space here, slip stitch. And then I'm gonna chain one and fasten off. So just cut this yarn and pull it through. That's one strap done. For this one, I'm gonna attach my yarn here and do the same thing. So I'll make a slip knot. And this is from the right side. Insert in the very first stitch, which looks like this. It's a double crochet 2 together. Pull this loop through, chain 1, and then I'm gonna make this strap starting from the very first stitch, which is a special double crochet, then chain 1, skip this chain 1. In the next stitch, make a double crochet again, and then from here it's the same as the other side, just 1 double crochet, chain 1, and double crochet 3 stitches for each row. And then I'm going to attach the strap to the back side to these 3 stitches, 1, 2, 3. When you finish the other strap, don't forget to weave in all the ends. So you would just use a yarn needle and hide your yarn tails into the stitches before you cut them. And that's it for this top.